Good day, and thanks for stopping by GardenStateWeather.com, New Jersey, and the Northern Mid-Atlantic region's weather portal. I'm forecaster Robert Smith with the in-depth forecast analysis video discussion for a rainy and possibly a little icy Monday on February 11th, 2013. And on this Monday morning here across the New Jersey, New York City metropolitan area, we still do have a lot of freezing rain advisories until 9 o'clock here for Passaic and Bergen, and also for Essex and Union counties here in New Jersey until around 9 this morning. Further back now through northern Passaic and Morris County, all the way down into Somerset, Hutterdon, Warren, and Sussex County in New Jersey, we have a freezing rain advisory until 10 o'clock this morning. And of course, all the way back into the Poconos as well, we have these freezing rain advisories until 10 o'clock this morning. Meanwhile, across the coastal waters, we also, by the way, on Long Island have a freezing rain advisory from just to the east of Hicksville and Brookhaven all the way out to the east end of Long Island. Freezing rain advisories in these areas here until 9 o'clock this morning as well. And right along the immediate coast, freezing rain advisories too, from Freeport all the way down to the end of Montauk Point on Long Island. Small craft advisories until 6 p.m. on Tuesday for the coastal waters from the New York City metropolitan area and the Hudson Bay and the harbor, rather, all the way out to Montauk Point. And in New Jersey coastal waters until 6 o'clock this evening, on Tuesday evening actually, small craft advisories in effect, and of course also for the inlets and bays here of the Delaware until 6 p.m. this evening. And here comes the rain across the region this morning, and it's still a little bit icy across northwestern New Jersey and the Poconos into southeastern New York and into Connecticut proper, but it's basically just rain now across northeastern New Jersey into the city, where temperatures are in the upper 30s to around 40. But still here in northwestern New Jersey, we still have reports of freezing rain here at Caldwell and also at Morristown and also at Allentown in the Lehigh Valley, and that rain is moving steadily through the area. There's some pockets of some moderate to heavy rain getting across Baltimore into the Philadelphia area, and then off the coastal waters we can expect some of these rain showers to be a little bit locally heavy across the region early this morning into late this morning. And this is the Nam Wharf composite from Penn State's Ewald site. Lots of clouds and some fog and some freezing rain and just plain rain across the region this morning. If we start things out, we can see the freezing rain across the northwestern areas of the Poconos. Rain showers here. Now, here's our upper low across the getting into southeastern Canada here. A warm front moving north, and eventually skies begin to clear out as the cold front moves through the region on west to westerly winds, and then the winds become northwest tomorrow and brings in some chillier and drier air into the area, especially during the afternoon as the atmosphere begins to dry out and high pressure begins to get in control. Here's our next weather maker as clouds begin to increase again as we get through the nighttime hours on Wednesday night. And the clouds will be overspreading the region. Precipitation from the south will be getting going here, and we'll look at that in the modeling in just a moment. And we can see our warm front now snaking through the Ohio Valley, down through Kentucky, and then off the northern, the central mid-Atlantic coast states. Here's our upper level low now getting into the UP of Michigan. Eventually it's going to climb and move to the north and east and southeastern Canada across Quebec, and drag this cold front here that you now see across the Midwest all the way off the mid-Atlantic coast later tonight as the winds begin to shift around. There is another active disturbance that's getting going here across the southern plains in Texas, and this area of low pressure here is going to separate itself away from this front, and that's going to be our next precipitation maker as we get into very late Wednesday night and Thursday on Valentine's Day. And Valentine's Day could be a little tricky around here. Some of the modeling is showing potential rain going over to snow, wet snow across Philadelphia into Trenton, northwestern New Jersey, and possibly into the city and southeastern New York State and Connecticut. And we'll have to monitor that. The European model is saying no to that and keeping this system well to the south and east. But the latest trends from both the GFS and also from the NAM show a different story. Here's our Garden State Weatherbird again. He's saying there are some airport delays on arrival flights in Washington, D.C. at Ronald Reagan National. Also in Philadelphia and LaGuardia in New York, experiencing between 35 to 40 minute delays on arrivals due to the inclement weather. And we'll start things out this afternoon. This is the NAM WRF model. And basically, all the rain showers will be exiting to the east of the New Jersey, New York City metropolitan area, perhaps still along the coast until early this afternoon as our winds become southwesterly. We can find low pressure getting organized and moving through southeastern Canada, and our cold front is still lagging behind here, and that cold front will be getting in here toward the evening and overnight hours as cooler and drier air begins to work into the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere. Still a lot of low cloudiness here into late tonight and into early tomorrow morning. But as we move through the forecast period here, high pressure is going to be building in across the region, across the Ohio and Tennessee and Mississippi Valley. And our southern system that I just talked about on that front is going to get hung up to the south here, and that's going to be our next precipitation maker come Wednesday night, and especially on Valentine's Day. We can find the temperatures in the mid and upper levels beginning to cool off as that upper low moves into southeastern Canada and the Canadian Maritimes. And also tomorrow morning, still mid-level cloudiness and some cooler conditions here across low-level cloudiness and conditions across the northern mid-Atlantic states, particularly northwestern New Jersey, but the upper and mid-levels of the atmosphere will be drying, and we're expecting a lot more clearing during tomorrow afternoon. As we go through the forecast period, lots of dry air in place on Tuesday morning and Tuesday afternoon, as high pressure is basically in control of a westerly to northwesterly flow of air. And here comes our next disturbance now. It's approaching the Mississippi Valley into the southeastern coast, and this will develop low pressure right along and offshore the Carolinas. Now, the NAM model and also the GFS to some large extent is forecasting this to lift to the north and east, while the European model from last night says it's going to remain to the south and not affect the area. Now, there's big differences in the models this time out, because it could be the difference between colder air being brought in across the region on Thursday morning to change the precipitation that is falling in the form of rain to wet snow across northwestern New Jersey, the Poconos, down around Trenton, and even possibly Philadelphia. So this is going to be something that we're going to have to watch here. Now, here's what the NAM WRF model does. It takes the low pressure area to off the mid-Atlantic coast, and we can see one plume of moisture here across the region, across southeastern Pennsylvania and northwestern New Jersey and the Poconos, and it takes this low pressure system now and moves the low pressure system to offshore south and east of Long Island. Now, at the same time, the temperatures are still marginal, but you can see here in the mid and upper levels that there is colder air being brought into the system as thicknesses begin to lower here at the mid and upper levels. We can even see this happening here with temperatures at the mid levels dropping off precipitously, and this black line here is the freezing line, which runs from coastal Monmouth County, New Jersey, all the way down through central Delaware and points south. So this is an indication that thicknesses are cooling here, and as a result, the temperatures are cooling, and the precipitation that is falling could change to wet snow. And that's what the NAM model is showing, and to some extent the GFS model is showing that too. And as that precipitation moves into southern New England, we can also see that this area here that just experienced the heavy snow of the nor'easter of last weekend is going to be producing more snow across Rhode Island and Connecticut in this area and out towards the Cape. As we get through the area, as this area of low pressure begins to deepen off of southern New England's coastal waters, and then eventually just begins to drift out to sea. Now, this is the NAM model, so there's a lot of problems here, because if this is correct and the GFS is correct, we could be looking at an appreciable amount of precipitation, and some of that is going to be in the form of snow. Now, from the Weathercaster site, weathercaster.com, this is the NAM models run from last night, 84-hour snowfall total for the upcoming event on Wednesday night, especially on Thursday morning, Valentine's Day. Now, this model is obviously seeing a lot more colder air that we just showed you, and it's producing up to 10 inches of snow in parts of Sussex and northern Passaic County. You get down into Warren and Morris County and up to points of western Bergen County here, up to 8 inches. Now, I think these amounts are probably overdone. As we get further south, through most of Bergen, Essex, Union, Somerset, and Hunterdon, we're down to about 6 inches, and we see that strong line here of up to 4 inches right along coastal Monmouth County, and then down, snaking down to parts of Burlington County here, where the precipitation precipitously drops off because the colder air is not being drawn in rapidly enough to change the rain over to snow. And again, I'm thinking some of these numbers are definitely too high. Now the NAM model, once again, this is the 6Z run of the NAM model now. It's still showing that 8 to 10 inches across these aforementioned areas. And again, 4 to 5, 6 inches across the rest of the forecast region down to around Philadelphia, which would be the total by Thursday afternoon, Thursday night, if this model is correct. Now the GFS from last night shows up to 4 inches in parts of northwestern New Jersey and the Poconos here. Notice this plume of areas between 6 and 8 inches just to the north and east of Philadelphia, getting into central New Jersey, central southern New Jersey, during the day on Thursday and Thursday afternoon before this entire storm system exits. So these numbers are a little bit lower, but still slightly a compromise to the NAM. And incidentally, the new GFS 6Z run this morning shows virtually nothing across the region. So we can see there's a lot of volatility in this forecast, especially after midnight on Wednesday into Thursday, Valentine's Day proper. And you're just going to have to stay with us here at GardenStateWeather.com and our blog spot as well for updated information. Also on Facebook and Twitter for updated information on the potential changeover from rain to wet snow across the region on Valentine's Day. And our Garden State Weather Bird is saying, be mindful of the freezing rain this morning, and also be on the lookout because we could have some frozen precipitation around here on Thursday morning, Valentine's Day, and some of that could transition from a rain to wet snow depending on how the system evolves across the region. So for GardenStateWeather.com, I'm forecaster Robert Smith. You make it a good Monday. Be safe out there, and we'll see you bright and early on Tuesday morning.